All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Free Thinkers channel. My name is Keen, and I have here with me Abdel, Egosa, and Idia Kosa. Egosa is visiting with us today, so she will be our guest speaker or our guest commentator today on the show.
Yeah.
And Idia Kosa, would you like to go over which topics we're going to be talking about today?
Yes. So today we are going to be discussing the Lekki shooting. We're also going to be discussing the pandemic um, palliatives, and also we'll be discussing Buhari speech.
Awesome, awesome. And just for those of you who are joining our channel for the first time, this is the Free Thinkers channel. It's just a channel where we discuss, latest topics trending around the world. Sometimes it might focus specifically on Nigeria because most of us are Nigerian, or it could focus on topics in the United States. But any topic is on the table, really. But this week, since there's a lot of things going on in Nigeria, especially the end SARS protests against police brutality. We've been focused mostly on that recently in our videos. All right, then. So, who would like to take a crack at it first? Let's talk about the hashtag end SARS protest and the Lekki shooting, or some refer to it as a massacre. Who would like to talk about that first?
So, so first of all, I want to say we are very sorry for any loss of life that happened. We bleed with the Nigerian youth, and we pray that God protect them and continue to guide them and give them the strength throughout this difficult time. As of let's see, massacre or shooting, I will let our highly qualified to Shore team and yeah, because our
Whoa!
okay, I was just
Whoa!
joking.
You
No,
throwing shots already?
no, I'm not throwing
Go
shots.
ahead and speak your mind, and Benin
Yeah,
Republic.
I will let my the other two people talk about it and let us give. They will give us some review of what happened and what they think of it. So who want to go first between you guys?
I'll go.
Okay.
So, like you said, we are deeply sorry of what happened, and our hearts go out to the families who lost their loved ones,
Yeah.
and we are very very sad, and I've been very disappointed and very hurt, seeing my beloved country, going through these problems. But I actually believe that the Lekki shooting happened, and I believe the excessive force was used, and I just think that's wrong, and I think there are better ways to address this situation, and also we have Nigerians who were protesting peacefully.
Yeah.
They were like praying, you know, you know, doing.
Singing the national anthem.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And then the police, the military
The
came
military, yeah.
and decided to shoot at the crowd. And also, I just thought that was inhumane, and something like that should not happen in any country, and that's wrong. And I hope there's an investigation going on, and the people who did that, should be brought to justice.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I totally agree. I think like it's just unfortunate that we were actually looking to the leaders to bring us together, and that didn't happen with the president's speech. And just to see like you were saying, like a lot of people were singing the national anthem. They actually had their flag, and was like that's all they had. They was just their flag, and for them to still get shot at, and they were peaceful. It was just something that I have never seen before, and to just say like yes, we've moved on, but like those families have not. people who lost their life, they have loved ones, and we just have to continue to put them in our prayers. And then when we talk about these things and like talk about the continuum of the movement, we have to make sure that we're doing this for those people who have lost their lives. And we have to just like right now, I mean, we have to turn to God to like give us wisdom on like where to go from here. And also there are different parts like everybody can play. Okay, people can like pray, people can be out there protesting, people you can donate. So we all have a part to play. I think we should focus on like ourselves and what part that we have to play in order to help each other. But it's very, very disappointing that people are just asking for change, and they had the flag, and people you still shot at them when they have the flag. So it was very, very disappointing, and my heart goes out to the families.
Awesome. I believe you guys said it well. I think it was very disappointing. I think it was irresponsible, and it's just a true picture of the kind of government that we have in Nigeria that does not respect human life or respect or honor the lives of their citizens. And it just goes to show you a country that cannot value the lives of its own citizens. Um, how would the citizens be treated when they go around the world? When you carry that green passport, how will you be treated by other countries? And it's just unfortunate, and it's just a reason why people lose hope in the country each and every day, and why some people are extremely outspoken against the government, and they kind of complete disregard for human life that is shown in the country. But not to continue on my rant, because if you get me going, I'll keep going. Um, I know to just touch on it a little bit, there was some debate on whether, if the events really happened. There are different accounts about the events that occurred. There are lots of videos on social media. I believe the army came out and said no, they did not participate in the shooting. The governor of Lagos State, I believe, at one point said he wasn't aware if there were any dead bodies. But later on, I think he kind of he visited people in the hospital, and he also later on said that the army was there, that he was aware that the army was there. And then to kind of transition to our next topic, the president.
Wait, before we transition to our next topic. So since you mentioned that, what do you think of the response of the governor for now? Like, what do you guys think of?
Well, that's why I want to go into our next topic in the for the sake of time also. But to transition to the president's speech, because you guys could give comments on the governor's response, and also give comments on the president's response. The president gave a speech, and a lot of Nigerians, well, there are different reactions, I would say, but it seemed like from social media and from different accounts on news organizations that, or the average person that watched it, there are different reactions towards this president's speech. And some criticize the president for not actually mentioning the Lekki shooting or massacre, whichever one people prefer, that he didn't actually mention that in his speech, and that it took him so long to come out to speak. What are you guys' thoughts on the government's response, the response from the army, the government response from the president, and the response from the government so far?
You want to go first?
I really. Oh, I'll go. Okay, so it was very, very disappointing. Like I was saying, that you really look up to your leaders, to bring the country together, and they had an opportunity to do that. They had an opportunity to actually bring people together, unify the country. Unfortunately, they dropped the ball, and they were focused on like the product, like, oh, people were protesting. I think the president was really focused on the disorder that was going on. And this quote always, I always go to this quote when people are focused on riots, focused on like not the actual issue, but the product of the issue. The riots are a product of a righteous and unjust system. The disorder began when a man's rights were violated. Like these people's rights were violated. So the fact that they're focused on what happened and not like what led it to that point was really disappointing. This was a time for them to actually have change, like tangible changes that they could do. But for him to just go to the hospital just for photo op and not really tell us exactly. He said he wants to pay their hospital bills, but people are not. They don't want you to pay for the hospital bill. They actually want you to have a good ed care system. They want ed equity, not the disparity of the healthcare system is trash. Okay, that's why they have to travel around, to other countries to get healthcare. So you really missed the mark. They missed the point, and it really shows to the deeper issues about what people think about Black lives. Black lives, like it's so the how people see Black lives is just the problem is like global. So it's important that we talk about that too as well.
Awesome, awesome. We have a comment here for someone on our YouTube page, Sassy Log, and the person wrote, "Inadequate response. The government is still refusing to address the core issues and demands of the protest."
Yes.
What do you
Let me.
think about that, Idiakosa?
Yes. First of all, like what you guys said, I was disappointed in President Buhari's speech because he failed to address the core issues. Buhari failed to even acknowledge the Lekki shooting. He did not even address that. So I really don't care what he said, but the failure to address the Lekki shooting that made Nigerians all over the world angry, upset, he did not do that. So, you know, it was very disappointing. And
Do you think it could possibly be because he's unaware the shooting happened, or do you think because he maybe is aware that the shooting happened and may have directly or indirectly ordered the military involvement, or why do you think
right,
even the president
that,
left it out?
that I really don't know if he did, or if he did if he ordered it. That I really don't know. And but what I do know that he failed
They failed to recognize.
to address it. And
But some will make the argument that he's a commander in chief of the armed forces. So if the armed forces is operating anywhere, um, either he should be. Ultimately, they report at the buck stops at his table. So
right,
even if something does happen involving the military, that he should be either notified before or after. At some point, I mean, at some point, especially, every Nigerian citizen, every citizen of the country's life is important. And some even make the argument that the military should not be operating within the country when we have for instance, a police force, which people would argue that we are protesting against the police. So why should the police intervene? Or, there's just so many different angles.
No.
So, what are your thoughts on the
So-
involvement of the military and the president's response?
So first of all, the president's response was very inadequate. It was he pulled a Trump.
Go ahead and say like you wanted to say the first time.
No. So to me, he pulled a Trump. Can you change the frame
Sorry,
of
I apologize.
So to me, he pulled a Trump. That was literally what Trump did when we had when we had protests in the United States here. He came up, instead of addressing the issue, he just went ahead and took a picture in front of a church. So that's the one thing missing. The law and order issue, the law and order standing on that he took was very. It was lacking the empathy that the society currently need. So to me, that was highly inadequate. And although I believe some part of his speech were good, because he did thank some of the military people who have died as well, he missed the mark on some of the key things: the lack of mentioning the Lekki shooting, the lack of taking the responsibility for what's happening under his government. Because at the end of the day, whatever happened under his government, I don't know or have any opinion who ordered it or not. But at the end of the day, he's the leader. Everything stopped with him, so he should take some responsibility for that and address the issue, take on the issue, and not take this law and order stand that he took when it happened. I do have one more thing about the governor of Lagos. I mean, the governor did, to me, his response was a little bit more passionate, more compassionate than that of the president. I think he reached out trying to pay off some of the bills. He recognized some of the things that happened and recognized that it was not totally appropriate. He didn't take any responsibility of what happened. That is a shortcoming. Um, but at the end of the day, he did show some compassion, which definitely is needed. Also, we have to recognize that this dude, if I remember correctly, also marched and support the protester cause initially when it comes to the NSAS movement, and supposedly might have been one of the people who actually went to talk to the president when it happened, when the protest initially started. So yeah, I think he has some great area where he did some great things, but also definitely there are areas where he needs some improvement. But overall, the government as a general, the response was definitely was not up to par when it comes to this massacre or shooting or the NSAR movement in general.
Okay, I mean, I would agree with you with partially of some of the things you said about the governor. Governor, so that's Governor Sanwo-Olu. Governor Sanwo-Olu is the governor of Lagos State. So I think if going to the hospital at all, I mean, at least that's something we don't see some other leaders would even do. So going to the hospital to visit victims, attending the protests and trying to engage with the protesters, I think that's also commendable. He went to the president. That's also commendable. What they talked about in total, I think he just was saying he would take the demands of the protesters to the president, and I think he also started a fund. Um, for the victims of protesters. Um, and some people have actually criticized some of those moves as well. Um, for instance, like with the funding or paying for people's hospital bills, some people criticize and say, well, that's the government's or the money of the people anyways. And, if these shootings weren't happening, it's almost just like you see in the United States, police officers shoot people, unarmed citizens, or not necessarily black people per se in every instance, but when a police officer does something and then the city or the state is sued, then all these millions of dollars are being paid in compensation to families, but this money is coming from taxpayers. So it's like at the end of the day, you're still taking money from the people. So even when you set up a fund, this money that's being taken from the people. So the people are being oppressed, and the solution to oppressing people is using the people's money to pay for the bills of oppression. So I think that's some of the criticism that has come, but it is commendable because at least the families would get some kind of what would I call it? Some kind of compensation. Although life cannot really be fully compensated with money, you can't bring life back, but they do get something, especially in a country Nigeria that has so many different issues that families go through, where people are struggling to make ends meet. At least some compensation for the family, maybe for funeral service or for taking care of or the void that might have been left from the loss of a loved one, can be kind of ameliorated. Um, so final thing I think we should talk about is the craze that kind of happened. Someone could call it craze, or the bizarreness that's been going on with food being found in warehouses. There's been food being found in different warehouses across Nigeria. There's one in Lagos. I think there was one in Jos. I can't remember the other state that one happened, but there are these videos circling on social media and WhatsApp of people finding food that was allegedly meant for pandemic relief. We try not to say the C19 word here, so our video is not flagged. But people are finding food in warehouses, and like thousands of people are trooping into warehouses. And so some will say they are looting food. Some will say they are just taking what is rightfully theirs. There are different comments about this. What do you guys think about this? And what do you also think about the quote unquote looting, like I said, by quote unquote, what some people have decided to call citizens of Nigeria? They decided to call citizens of Nigeria hoodlums. So we could debate those terms as well.
Okay.
In just a few minutes, what do you guys think about the burning of buildings and of properties, and the attack on the Oba of Lagos Palace, for instance? What are your thoughts on just those in general? If you guys could just give a few words.
Yeah, I think like I do believe that we shouldn't resort to like the burning of buildings, especially like the burning of businesses. A lot of like people have been affected, especially businesses. It's at the end of the day, those businesses have to, recover, and they still have to feed for their families. I think we should take our energy and we can take it into doing something more tangible and like being together. Like we need to be unified, because at the end of the day, running those like specific businesses, those are businesses that we are fighting for. So we're fighting those, which I'm talking about like independent businesses, like small business owners. So it's important that we come together and there's unity. But the palliatives, out at the warehouse, I just don't understand the reason for that. I don't understand why the government did not give the people their stuff. Like there's no I just don't I don't know. I'm really shocked, and using those terms like hoodlums. Like I know the Punch newspaper constantly was using those terms. Like I just don't understand why they're calling those people hoodlums when it's just I don't think that's the proper term to use in that scenario. Like you guys really kept people were suffering during that throughout this pandemic, and you really like just kept all of the stuff in the warehouse for what? So there's no point to that. But I think like we can really channel our energy into like being unified and like really creating a change. Running like businesses, especially small business owners, I don't think is the right way.
Idiakosa, what are your thoughts on that, Idiakosa?
Yeah, let me piggyback to the last topic about what the governor of Lagos did. You know, I mean, I understand. You know, like he went to the scene and to go check the place out, and also when people were protesting, he was there. So I know, I understand we want to give him some credit, but that is the basic stuff of what government should do. You know, I understand he's giving funds to people who lost their life. I mean, that is great, but that's just the basic stuff of what government should be doing, and they should be doing more, and they can be and doing more. Even before this shooting happened, there's a lot of Lagosians who are.
Sorry, excuse me, Idiakosa, but what are your thoughts on the pandemic
I know.
palliatives?
Let me. I will go back to the pandemic. Let me just, piggyback to to the last topic, and then I will transition
Okay.
Okay, that works.
pandemic. So but I'll be quick. So what I'm saying now, even before this shooting or before this issue started going on, a lot of Lagosians, a lot of them, are jobless, and so far I've not seen what the government or what the governor of Lagos have done to create opportunity for more jobs, or create an environment, where people could be taken out of poverty. I think that is also an issue, and I believe so far they have failed in that aspect. So back to the pandemic stuff. I'm against looting, destroying of public and private businesses. I'm against it. It's wrong. That's a wrong approach. Because we know some people who have used the hard-earned money to build their businesses, and just having some people destroy it is very sad, and I do not support that. But people go into the warehouse to collect the food, the pandemic stuff that was supposed to be given to them during the outbreak is morally right and just. So I want to use looters, for people who are recovering stuff that are supposed to be distributed to them. So yeah, so I think they have that right. They are hungry. The government has fed them, and also it's part of what I'm saying. The government have really failed to address poverty, to address underemployment. So you see all these people going to all this warehouse, to grab food, because The government has really failed to do the basic stuff.
Yeah, so like instead of like paying the hospital bills, I think there are somewhere else in Lagos, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's
I don't understand why the governor did not distribute those food to those people.
So hold on, was he? So there were. So I gotta say, oh, to be honest, I'm not fully sure who's responsible to distribute and who's not.
The
Supposedly
fact
there's
that
a
it was not,
contract.
it's leadership, right? So it might be the chairman or it might be people in the local level. By the end of the day, like you drop the ball because you have to make sure that those things are those things are done. Even if like you delegate people to do it, you delegate and you have to make sure that they come through. And it's easy to know. I mean, you have access to know if people receive those goods or not. And like one of the as a responsible, leadership, you go to the warehouse and say, okay, did they distribute those things? Or there are ways that you can get update. So I it's hard to say, okay, he didn't know. Like even I think Buhari's daughter, she came out and she said that it's basically not her dad's fault because it's in the local level. But at the same time, like we passing out blame, like if you're in the top of the leadership, you still have to
Right.
make
Yeah.
sure.
Right.
And
Let
I
me.
think and I think that some of the issues too is, even if, let's say the governor was not aware that the items were not distributed, who was aware and who is taking accountability? Because that's some of the problems that we have in Nigeria, in governments around the world, but specifically we're talking about Nigeria now, is who takes accountability, even with the protests right now or with the shooting, who is taking accountability, who is being held responsible, who is resigning, who is getting fired. Those things do not happen. People do not resign in Nigeria. People do not get fired in Nigeria. It's just like, the other, another week was one drama. There's every week there's a different drama, and life just goes on. You hear different stories of ridiculous things. How can all that food? I mean, the amount of food we're talking about. I wish we could show videos here. We probably need to try and work on that for the next thing. But you have warehouses as big as Walmart's or twice the size of Walmart's, or a warehouse as big as ShopRite, to put it in proper context, full with Indomie and gari and sugar and things like
Right.
that. And people are, and then you hear people are, you're honestly sometimes trying to believe the government, like, okay, you know what, COVID has been really been difficult, and maybe the government is struggling in providing for the people, or it's not like the United States where they could give out stimulus checks to help stimulate the economy. But then you actually find out that no, there's all this food, and someone just didn't refuse to give it out. For what reason? There's so many reasons that could come to mind. Some people's like, oh, maybe they're waiting to the next election to give it to people. It's like you're just trying to make sure that people starve, and then you're going to distribute at the next election or the next opportunity that you find. It's ridiculous, and it's completely irresponsible. It's completely wicked. Let's just call it what it is: wickedness.
I agree.
Like I said, these are the kind of people that they see your phone at 1% and their phone is at 99%, and they won't let you charge your phone.
Yeah.
They see you dying next to them, and they'll just say, "Oh no, we don't have anything." And you had something. And not only did you have something, you had something that was for them, something that was created for them. So many different companies were donating food, donating money. People were donating, and you just said, "Oh, there's nothing," and no one takes accountability for these things. But anyways,
And yeah, just that's
let's all give. We have to round up in like 2 minutes. So if you guys give your final comments on everything.
right.
So
Oh, I'm sorry. Continue.
I didn't get a chance to talk about the pandemic palliative or warehouse looting or whatever. I didn't get a chance to talk about it at all.
Go ahead and speak. Say your thoughts.
So actually, I honestly feel disappointed with the Nigerian government. I think they definitely we need to have someone either losing their job or going to jail for first the shooting, the lack of the lack of distribution or not enough distribution of those products that were meant for Nigerians who were struggling. And it was just not Lagos; it was multiple states where the food were not being given out. So there's really no excuse when it comes to that. And it's very sad. And like Kin have said, it's very wicked to see that people who are constantly struggling go in there and see warehouse full of food and that could have helped them during the pandemic, and still will help them during the pandemic. But now the issue that I have with the looting is, although it's not really looting, but although I'm with it, those people that
With looting, you're down with looting.
I'm sorry.
You said you're with looting.
I am. I have. Yes. I don't. So
Oh.
I don't necessarily have an issue with the. I do not necessarily have an issue with people going there and getting what is theirs already. The issue I have, or where I'm concerned, is what about those people who also are in need but cannot get to the warehouse to get what they need?
Whose fault is that? Who's supposed to distribute the food? If the food was distributed to people that's supposed to get the food in the first place, this all comes back is the fault. The blame is not even on the people. The blame is on whoever put that stuff in the warehouse and didn't distribute it.
I agree. So it's still the government's fault. I'm not putting blame on anybody else, but I think if we put, instead of just looting, if we put some pressure on the government to actually do the right thing, that might be beneficial for every single person. But I do understand, and I respect those people who feel the need to go there and get what is theirs. I just felt bad for those people who are not going to be able to do the same. That's all. And as a final comment, the ENSA movement is a very good movement. It's something that Africa in general, and Nigeria needs, and Africa in general needs. I would definitely say, after the shooting, I think definitely, or the massacre, I feel definitely a revolution is needed. I'm not saying revolution now, no, but I do think a revolution is needed. But I believe the revolution the revolution I'm talking about is a revolution at the ballot box. So when people go voting and showing out, they should remove those senators who are making
let's all of us keep waiting for the ballot box. If these people could have done it, they would have kept that food in those warehouses to 2023 so they can distribute it before the election.
Yes.
But anyways, and I think it's even controversial how this food is. I have huge doubts about anything that almost goes on that involves the government. How all of a sudden food that was in the warehouse started being released when people are protesting around the country? I even think it's part of a distraction, because who knew that food was there? And was it all the people in the neighborhood who just knew the food was there and they just didn't go there? Or was somebody actually leaking information to the public? Because this thing was, let me finish, because this was also happening in multiple states, at least 3 states. I know definitely it happened in Jos, it happened in which would be Plateau State, it happened in Lagos. I can't remember which other state it happened in.
Kaduna.
They said it happened in Kaduna too. So all of a sudden, people are discovering mystery food in a 600 by 600 square foot warehouse that was just sitting there, and they never went there. And somebody just suddenly opened the gates of heaven. I think it's also a distraction towards the protests. And in regards to looting, I would say also, there are also reports that some government officials may have been funding looters to distract from the protests, from the peaceful protests that were going on. And these are tactics. And I think just as, the media is calling people hoodlums, I think they should need to be very guided in their choice of words, because when people are looting from the national treasury, when people are holding on to warehouses full of food and looting into their houses, or using people or youths that do not have jobs or are not properly educated to loot and overthrow elections and steal ballot boxes, no one calls them hoodlums. We still say the election was democratically, people are democratically elected when they are using these so-called hoodlums to steal the ballot boxes and things like that. I know I can see Abdel is getting worked up over there by my comments, but we just need to be very guided, because when rich people are stealing, when they're stealing from the nation, and you see these governors that have stolen the whole money of states still becoming senators under certain administrations and certain parties, they're just regular human beings. But when you see a poor man going to go and break down a house and steal food to put in his belly, they call him a hoodlum. We have hoodlums in Agbada in our country.
The looting, let me just say. So with the looting, so first of all, we have to condemn the cause of the looting.
So hold on, can I correct something? Can I correct something right now? Please let me correct one thing I said. So when I was talking about looting, I was talking about looting of the warehouses, or people going back to get what is supposedly, what technically was supposed to be theirs in the first place. That's what I mean by when I talk about looting. But I'm not in support of burning building or anything else that can affect negatively any other person, any going to people's houses or private businesses. And
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying though. The narrative is changing. It's not like it's NSARS protesters doing those things.
I,
Not the
again,
peaceful
I never,
protesters. It's not the people that have been protesting peacefully for the past 3 weeks doing those things.
hold on, but I never
You
said.
have people with machetes attacking people or stealing people's phones. For instance, TVC, the TV station was burnt down. It's not private peaceful protesters doing those. Those are people that are probably being paid agents.
So
There's
do
some
you
evidence
know,
that the government might be involved in that. Huh?
Ken was talking though. Hold on.
no, hold on. So I don't. So again, like, I'm against that.
No,
But
yeah,
when you brought up what you just brought up right now, I think it's important for us to try our best to be objective and stay clear of rumors. I don't
What?
and stay clear of rumors.
Which one? Well, who said a rumor?
So we absolutely. So you have full hard evidence that the government is paying those people to go do what they do.
Yes.
You have hard evidence of that,
Yes.
and you provide it.
You want
And
me to provide it now or later?
you can share with the people so they can know.
Yeah, I'll share later.
Just sorry, let me just continue what I was saying.
Oh, sorry, yes.
So, right, we have to condemn when we're talking about looting, and when we have to condemn the cause of it. Like we have to condemn the cause of why people are looting, and which is the bad governance and everything. We have to condemn that, and then we can address the broken reaction. Yes, we can address that. That's a later thing we can address. Like, okay, you shouldn't be looting, but we should not lose focus on condemning why people are upset and why people are looting. And I think it's not even with the NSARS protest, it's just people who are infiltrating it. I do believe that people should not go into like especially private businesses, because I know in Nigeria there's no insurance like in America. So like seeing like families getting devastated, there's no like insurance, business insurance, or so it's like people really, find their way. So I think like this is the time we have to be unified. But calling people hoodlums, like the Punch newspapers, especially, they did that so many times. They can actually discuss more about, amplify the voices and people in the front lines. I didn't see them do that as much than legit just posting and calling them hoodlums. That's my problem, especially Punch newspaper.
yeah.
They say they were doing that a lot.
I know, yeah, I agree. I think that's why I wanted to that's why I went to piggyback to the top wingers were kind of giving credit to the governor of Lagos. He did this and that, because even those money is given to all those victims, it's for the people. I mean, all these governors, like steal money from the public, they do. And then when something happened, they decide that okay, we will give some of the money we have stole to the public. So I mean, I just don't want people to think that these people deserve credit.
No, so hold on. Let's be.
Hey, lady and gentlemen, the video is now at 38 minutes, so I'm going to have to cut it off. If you want to continue another video, we could do that.
No, but hold on.
For the sake of people watching, we don't want the video to be too long. So thank you everybody for joining us on Free Thinkers channel.
Hold on.
We hope this has been an entertaining and informative, more importantly, informative discussion. And we just hope that these discussions would help us engage with one another and build towards a better country and a better society in general.
And also support, if you have to donate in different organizations,
support, yes.
Awareness, prayer, everything is important. Don't undermine your voice, don't undermine your influence. So you can make a change. You can make a change. It doesn't matter like how many followers you have or anything. You can do something, and each one of us can make a change.
We do support NSARS protests. We support it. Keep going. Just keep going. We support it.
We are with the Nigerian people. We are with the Nigerian youth. I think the Nigerian is
all of Una. You now want to give final thoughts and comments until the end of time.
Hold on. No, why did they cut me off now? Okay, fine.
King.
Let me finish. Why are you being a dictator now?
No, thank you, King. I have a word for you after this video.